Welcome, everyone. It is MLB Tonight live at the World Series, presented by Evan Williams Bourbon. Game 4 tonight, the most highly anticipated World Series in recent memory, a battle of titans. We did see one classic game, but tonight, a potential sweep. The Dodgers with a chance to take the Yankees in 4 straight games, an opportunity to cap their years of dominance, bookend the shortened season with a second World Series title, and send their ancient rival reeling. Can the Yankees defend Yankee Stadium from their rivals? 24 clubs have been down 3-0 in a World Series. Only 3 have even forced a Game 5. None have gotten to a Game 6. So we get ready to go. Dodgers and Yankees. Could be elimination night. Brian Kenny, Chris Young, Yonder Alonso here on the set. Before we jump in, we'll have full coverage, previews. It's a bullpen game for the Dodgers, Luis Gil for the Yankees, but we welcome in Walker Buehler, who was magnificent last night. Walker, congratulations to you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
So 5 shutout innings last night, and you look like Walker Buehler used to look. How did that happen for you after a rough regular season?
Yeah, it was a tough year, man. It really was, but there was one bullpen in St. Louis that kind of changed it all. Jack Flaherty was out there, and obviously our pitching guys, and from there kind of got a little bit better each outing, and I like pitching in these games.
How much specific game planning do you do, like for this team? It seems like you really have a knowledge of what you want. How much game planning? What do you do?
Yeah, I'm a little different in the way that I do it. I'm a little bit more matchup based in terms of what I'm trying to do to certain guys, and a lot of guys pitch straight to their strengths, and I'm not one of those. I kind of mix and match and see what I got going that day, so it kind of comes out different every time.
It seemed like you went right after their strengths, though. I'm assuming you got to be a great poker player, because when you're digging into the scouting report, they say, all right, man, the Yankees hit 4-seam fastballs. Walker Buehler last time against the Mets, he went to the sinker and the sweeper, so he's not even throwing the 4-seam fastball. And then today, or yesterday, you end up going out there and just firing right at him. Is it almost playing poker against the other team at that point?
Yeah, I think at some point for me, if I can throw the one down or down and away to righties, that's kind of always been my bread and butter. And this, honestly, yesterday was probably the first time all year I've had that throw. And, for me, if I have that one going, I'm going to keep going to it.
Walker, I faced you when you were a younger guy. It felt like you pitched with aggression, with emotions. I played with emotions as well. I remember kind of like one of my times where I knew I was kind of done with one team. I knew, okay, this is a very emotional start or a very emotional place to be. Last night, for me, it's not so much what you did here, but the emotions that took place at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Perhaps maybe, if you do come back here, you come back here. But if you don't, this might have been the last time you were a Dodger blue.
Yeah, I don't, we'll see on that. It's not really all up to me. There's something special about playing on this kind of stage, but with our guys and our team. We've talked a lot about how close this team is, and it is emotional, man. Yeah. Whether you win, lose, or draw, like us going out and playing together is emotional for all of us. And I think the on-the-field stuff you kind of got to earn. It's got to be a big moment, and you get those every once in a while. They feel pretty good.
Yeah, when you're talking about the team, there's so many special moments that you saw that happen yesterday. You see Mookie making the diving play for you. Teoscar Hernandez. Anytime a new player comes and onboarded with the Dodgers, it seems like they're immediately brought in as family. How much does that change how you plan on what you're going to do on the mound when you get a lead early, and then you have your guys behind you making plays?
Yeah, there's nothing more comforting than going out for the first inning with a lead, especially on the road in a place like this. And having a clean first inning after that, I think the momentum really changes, and then you can see here, obviously, Teo, that's about as big a momentum play as you'll see in any game, and especially in the playoffs. And I was screaming bad. No, they're huge plays, man, and we've got great players that make big plays, and I'm just happy to be a part of it.
You're up 3-0, has to feel good. How do you temper that the job's not done, but you're in such a commanding position?
Yeah, I mean, our whole team, I think, in general, has been doing a really good job all playoffs of playing one at a time and kind of all the cliche stuff that we talk about. But for me, I've got Game 7 if we get there. So there's something that I kind of got to keep getting ready for. I can't quite go sit and have a beer every game and whatever. So try and get ready for Game 7 if we need it.
You're from Lexington, Kentucky. You went to Vanderbilt. The weather sometimes can be pretty nasty.
Yep.
But what is it with you, man? It feels like anytime it's just a little crisp in the air, you got that and that nasty cutter. Yep. What is it, man? You just like it?
I don't know. I think I got used to it in college, man. I swear. One year I had 10 straight starts under 40 degrees. college. And
I went to Miami. I don't know about that.
Right, exactly. You know how college is. If you're not good, you're out of there. So I had to figure out how to be good in the cold.
Has to be quite a ride, though, after being tested by the Padres where you were.
Yep.
Just how did that happen? It didn't look like you'd be here, let alone up 3-zip. What was it like when you were down and facing elimination?
Yeah, it's hard. I think it's kind of cool. That 2-1 game, we threw the bullpen game and kind of changed the momentum, and hopefully we close it out tonight with a bullpen game again. I think it'd be a little poetic for us and our team. Obviously, we have one of the best bullpens in baseball, and they've certainly stepped up. So, we're hoping they can do it for us tonight.
Well, you've had 3 World Series starts. You were in that 18-inning game. I have to remember that. You pitched the first 7 shutout. You've given up 1 run in 3 World Series games. Quite a resume.
Nasty.
Walker, congratulations to you and best of luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Walker Buehler right there. He was tremendous again last night against the Yankees in the first game here at Yankee Stadium. Here are the starting lineups for Game 4. It will once again be Shohei Ohtani leading off, still with the bad shoulder, but he's leading off. Designated hitter, Betts, Freeman, the rest of the way. For the Yankees, there is a change in that Jazz Chisholm, left-handed batter, is batting 4th between Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton. Let's get a little more on that with Lauren Shahadi. Lauren, why the change? What is Aaron Boone saying about the Yankee lineup tonight?
Yeah, BK, Yonder and I were just talking about sometimes the best moves are the moves you don't make at all, but Aaron Boone has done this all postseason long, and it has worked out beautifully. He's changed up his lineup. Remember, in the championship series, he put out a lineup that we had never seen before, and they won. So Jazz in between the big boys, Judge and Stanton, and he addressed the media, BK, not too long ago to explain why.
Really just trying to be a little more balanced, with them doing a bullpen day, and this being more in line with kind of what I've done all year. Like say we're facing a right-handed pitcher. Just this is kind of the rollout. But today against a bullpen day, just trying to net a bat or two that's not a favorable spot for them.
BK, Aaron Boone is in search of balance, left, right, and that's the way it plays out. He said he toyed with Judge leading off, but didn't want to disrupt Gleyber Torres at the top, and I was out here early. The past 3 games, and I've seen Giancarlo Stanton every single day take early BP on the field, coaches surrounding him 30 minutes at a time without any of his teammates before they come out, and he's just kind of done that. That's been his routine, and it is working so far. The hottest bat in that Yankees lineup so far.
Yeah, whatever he's doing is working, certainly slugging through this postseason. On the other side, it's rare, Lauren, that you'd have a Rookie of the Year candidate and front runner starting in a World Series game, and yet there's so much trepidation. What is it about Luis Gil that is not a good matchup tonight?
You know what, BK? They were toying with having Garrett Cole start on short rest, but they opted for a rested arm, and Aaron Boone said, I got it, 88 pitches last time out for Garrett Cole, but the injury history, he just didn't feel like it was right. And the truth is, if this team goes the distance, they are going to need a fully rested Garrett Cole to get them. So you said it, Luis Gil, 26 years old. The stuff is electric, nasty changeup. He has a tendency, we talk about it all the time, to lose the strike zone. It is something he knows, acknowledges it, and has been working on for a long, long time. Listen to this.
Control is something that you can definitely improve on. For me personally, it's something that I've been working on to be better at, to be more efficient when executing my pitches. So yeah, that's something that definitely I think I can improve on, and I've been working on. The experience that I've gotten from watching and participating is just how to control the emotions out there. There's a lot going on, but at the same time, you just have to take it pitch by pitch, batter by batter.
It is all about control. I want you to look at this. In LA, well aware. It's a first pitch ball. Listen to this, BK. 55% of the time, you know it. Most in the league. Dodgers plan on being patient, and Aaron Boone will be ready, and so will his relievers. I had a conversation with Clay Holmes yesterday, and I said, now that you're out of the closer's role, how do you know when you're ready? Does your routine move up? And he said, honestly, in October, from the second inning on, I am ready to go. It is all hands on deck, as you can imagine, for Game 4 tonight, BK.
Yeah, facing elimination, right? All those walks. Opponent's batting average, #2 in all of baseball. Can't put guys on today, though. Lauren, thank you so much. Let's get back to the guys. Quick thoughts on Jazz Chisholm in that spot between Judge and Stanton, because we are looking at, CY, matchup baseball, and Dave Roberts is able to bring in left-handers to go through 4 out of 5 left-handers on the Yankee lineup. Do you like this move?
Yeah, I love the move. I think it balances out the lineup. I feel like this is a move that probably should have been done earlier. You never want to put yourself in a position to where once you get to the bottom of the lineup, you have 4 out of 5 guys that are left-handed. Right now, yes, you're still going to have Rizzo and Wells that you have and Verdugo, 3 out of 4 guys. But in the top of the lineup, I feel like you're trying to position yourself to score early as possible. And you have to put yourself in a position to go out there and dominate, especially in a bullpen game. Try to prevent Dave Roberts from going to the bullpen in the first or second inning and put the pressure on these guys. The Yankees have to score early. They have to get the lead early, because if we find ourselves in a situation again to where the Dodgers are up by a couple runs, I feel like full panic sets in.
Well, in 12 games, they haven't scored. They only have 4 runs in the first inning, so it's something that it is a problem like you're talking about. I think for me it becomes down to the 8, 9, and leadoff guys, right? Those guys have got to get on. How many times have we seen Soto hit with nobody on base? He's your best hitter right now. He's got to be able to have guys on base to get better pitches. And with that, I would think that Judge will get better pitches because of that. So, look, you got to help your guys out, and that's Soto and Judge. The 7, 8, 9 guys have got to get on base.
Now, I'll say this. This time yesterday, we were still checking the weather in Los Angeles. Right. I don't know how often we've done that today. We're thinking this might not go back at this time. It's 3-zip. There are things you can control. There are things you can't control. The 4-pitch walk to an injured Ohtani, right? Judge going 0 for 3, striking out the first time out. But the thing I think that stands out to me is sending Giancarlo Stanton. Sending Giancarlo Stanton on that base hit where this is Giancarlo Stanton. That stunned me, Chris.
Yeah, Giancarlo Stanton is a lot of things, but fleet of foot just isn't one of those things. And when you watch this situation, I understand it's 2 outs and you're trying to be aggressive, but when you look at when Teoscar Hernandez gets the ball, I mean, Giancarlo Stanton is touching third base, maybe even a little in front of third base, and that's not a situation. All year we've seen Giancarlo Stanton running from third to home or trying to score from second, and you understand that he's not one of the fastest guys in the league. And you have a few guys in that Yankee lineup that you just can't send, and that is just the way that the team is built. The Dodgers literally top to bottom, every single person in their lineup you can send on a ball hit in the outfield. The Yankees aren't built like that, so you have to adapt. To me, it felt like a move in where you're panicking and you're trying to force something that just simply isn't there. You're trying to go out there and steal a run when you're already down 3 runs at the time. And I feel like you have to continue to show confidence in the rest of your lineup. Continue to show confidence in Rizzo, who's coming up in that big situation, because essentially right here, you conceded an out. You conceded out. I understand it took a perfect throw and all that, but I don't think it took a perfect throw.
Even that stat's fascinating. Look, the Dodgers are #1 in scoring from second on a single. This is very baseball-y, 73% of the time. Yankees are dead last 53% of the time. And what's dragging that down yonder is Giancarlo Stanton, right? He's hitting, he's slugging, but I was stunned to anybody but Stanton being sent.
And you know what? To a credit of Rojas, he was trying to get that team going. He was trying to get the fans going as well, but you just can't do it. This is a situation right now where this is a team that doesn't necessarily really score from second on a base hit, but especially that play. And see, what you know about this, you're in the outfield. If a left fielder is running towards home plate and he's running to his right, it's a much easier throw to make to home plate, a more accurate throw to make to home plate than it is running to the left, right? So for me, I was like, you know the situation. You know who's on second. You know who he's got a cannon on left. Why do it when you have a guy like Rizzo who's put together some really good at-bats?
Yeah, it's a general rule of thumb yonder for an outfielder. If a guy has to go 5 steps to the left or right, yes, potentially you can score right here. But Teo, like you said, is pretty much coming in on the ball. A little bit to the right. He puts himself in perfect position. You have to give credit due to Teoscar Hernandez for being able to make this throw right here in a big pressure situation. But we've seen it all postseason. This is what the Dodgers do, and this is why they're in this position right now, because they run the bases well and they play lights-out defense. And if you give them an inch, they're going to take it, and they're going to take advantage of the situation and put themselves back in the dugout.
It takes a while. It's not as sexy as talking about Aaron Judge struggling, but tight baseball makes such a big difference. The base running and the defense, and the Dodgers have had it. But when we come back, we're talking about a team that is starting a guy who is a veteran of 3 major league games. That's the Dodgers, sitting pretty. Ben Kasparius will get the start while the Yankees go with the Cy Young frontrunner, Luis Gil. Chris Young, Yonder Alonso will break down Gil. We'll talk Judge, we'll talk Freddie Freeman, getting ready for Game 4 here at Yankee Stadium in the 2024 World Series. Here live at Yankee Stadium, MLB Tonight, presented by Evan Williams Bourbon. Michael Kopech getting ready to go. A couple of guys hit triple digits on this Dodgers club. He's one of them, 100, 101 miles per hour. Cloudy night here in the Bronx. About 60 degrees at game time, which sounds nice. Feels a little cool out here, but very good baseball conditions. The ball game tonight, of course, starts just after 8 o'clock Eastern time. Game 4, Dodgers leading the Yankees 3-0. You can see that game, of course, on Fox. Brian Kenny back with Chris Young and Yonder Alonso. Let's start with Luis Gil. Hill is a guy who's 1.99 ERA through May, Chris, and he's still the Rookie of the Year front runner. He limits damage, but he walks a lot of guys, and the Dodgers will wait you out, and they will walk. Their top 3 in chase, top 3 in walks. What happens when the two collide?
On the surface level, it looks like an awful matchup for Luis Hill. I have to be honest. The Dodgers are going to make him come into the strike zone, but if he can make that adjustment right here and understand that, you know what, I can't nitpick in this series. We've seen 3 other pitchers try to do that and not work out for them, so he needs to go out and make an adjustment. There was a time, BK, early in the season when Garrett Cole was injured, that if there was a Game 1 starter that I would want on the mound for the New York Yankees, at the time it was Luis Hill, and what he was doing so well in the first half of the season, he was using his fastball, using his changeup, and he used this to keep batters off balance. The reason that his fastball was so effective is because he was very comfortable using his changeup, and that allowed his velo to play up. If you do have to make 99 miles an hour play up, this is the way to do it, is by using his changeup. When the second half came around, he tried to make an adjustment and started to try to use his slider a lot more often, and he got away from the changeup just enough to where when hitters saw backspin, saw a fastball coming in, they eliminated the changeup, they sold out for the heater, and they were able to make the adjustment and absolutely jump on Hill. These are fastballs up in the zone right here that Hill is absolutely giving up mammoths, and this is what you're trying to keep the Dodgers away from today. But I think, and Yonder, you know this, there's times, even if you go out and you're hitting BP, if you just attack the strike zone and just throw balls right down the middle, sometimes guys don't touch you. The Dodgers, I think, have every pitcher so feared to come into the strike zone because they're making you pay in every big situation, but that still shouldn't be enough to have you shying away from the strike zone. So for Hill tonight, the only way to go about it is to attack the strike zone as good as possible, throw it out there, and see what happens.
You know, one thing, the Yankees do have a Game 4 starter. Yonder, most Major League clubs, even in the postseason, there's no Game 4 starter. This is Game 4 for the Dodgers. Right. They have no Game 4 starter. It's bullpen. Yankees have a Game 4 starter. They can have a Game 5 starter if they wanted. Yeah, they do. And I think with Hill, I think he's going to be exceptional today. I think this weather and this atmosphere really plays off, but they also need a spark, and they also need a guy that's done it in the past before. And I think for me, it's Marcus Stroman. I think if Hill gets in trouble, you're going to see a guy that, man, why'd you sign him? Why'd you bring him over here? Why? Because he gives you attitude. He gives you love. He gives you an appearance of, today is my game. Today is a man's game, and I'm going to be ready for this action. And look, he's done it in the past in 2016 in that wildcard game. Remember, winner keeps going, loser, goodbye, and he was outstanding. And he looks for these moments. This is where he shines. This is where he actually lives up. He doesn't really care so much about the regular season, and I'm showing that June 22nd because the Yankees had lost four straight. And he came in when they needed to win. It was a big game against the Braves. Game on the line, and he was outstanding. 6 2/3 with no runs. He gets the win. But this is what I like. I think the Yankees right now, they're asleep. They're on airplane mode. They need to get back to who the Yankees were in April, when they were very dominant, even without Garrett Cole and Judge struggling. And a big part was that guy. I wouldn't be surprised if you see him tonight. I know he hasn't pitched in the postseason, but he brings that edge, the little edge of, hey, we're going to punch you back. And if they can do that and he'll do well, I think they have a shot. Look, he's on the roster, right? If you really didn't believe in him at all, you could go with a shorter arm. They haven't done that. He's on there. I'm wondering why we didn't see him in any capacity to
Well, you said something, BK, that really got to me there, and they don't strike out. But why don't we play to that? Stroman's a guy that, hey, you got to put the ball in play. Let that defense do its thing. Big double plays will be huge for Stroman. As for the Dodgers, again, Ben Kasparius gets the start. He's 25 years old. He's a 5th-round pick out of 2021. Again, he pitched in 3 Major League games before this postseason. He's pitched very well in the postseason. But I guess, Yonder, will start with you. There is a leverage plan for Dave Roberts. We've seen him do this. So how do you see this playing out? What do you think he's planning? An inning and a third for him, and then after that, it's all hands on deck. But I think for me, it's about leverage situations, right? And I think when you look at what we've done and what we've seen in this postseason, it's a chess match. I mean, Dave Roberts, what he's done right here, and especially tonight, it will be a chess game right there with Booney. And when it's high leverage situation, Dave Roberts is going to pull his cards. And we saw this in NLDS in Game 4. It was, 2, 3, 4. It was tough guys. And look, I'm going to bring Kopech in the 3rd inning, a guy that was closing games for you. But hey, it was high leverage situation. Arise and Tatis could not get on. That was the biggest key. Being able to not have Manny hit with multiple guys on base. He brought in his leverage. We saw it again later on in that Game 4, Vesia. he was outstanding for them. And not only that, what I like about him too is the whiff rate that he gets. He can get left-handers out and he can get right-handers out. These are the weapons that Dave Roberts is going to use in high leverage situation. When Soto's up, when Judge is up, or whoever's got a couple hits, he's going to deliver those high leverage guys. We saw it in the CS in Game 6. Training, he's nasty. He's got that sinker baller. He's got that breaking ball that's filthy. He can get righties out. He can get lefties out. But it's in the 8th inning. He's got 2 or 3 guys right now that he can use in the 3rd, he can use in the 6th, or in the 8th or 9th. And Training is the key guy because he can go multiple. He hasn't been used in quite a while.
So, also, if they lead, we'll see a squad, what you're talking about. What if he's trailing, Chris?
You know what? I see this game going a completely different way. I got to be honest. I think it's very telling to have Kasperius as the one that's starting the game as opposed to a Kopech. We're talking about the high leverage guys. There's no better part of their lineup, this Yankees lineup, than the top few guys in the lineup. Yeah. So if you're making a decision to go with Kasperius right here, it's telling me that I'm willing to go out here and just kind of see what happens and adjust on the fly. If we can go out there and get a lead, then I will go to my high leverage guys. But if the Yankees come out and score a couple runs early in the game, I expect to see Kasperius, I expect to see Knack, I expect to see Honeywell, I expect to see those guys, and Dave Roberts trying to use those guys to get as many innings as possible, because the worst thing that could possibly happen to the Dodgers today would be to use your high leverage guys and lose the game.
Right, absolutely.
Allow the Yankees to go out there and use all their high leverage guys and have Cole come back.
When do we know? When do we know that's going to be a punt? Is it a 3-run lead? Is it a 4-run lead?
I think it's early yonder. I think it's a 2-run lead, and I think he goes the other way.
That's interesting. You're right, because he did that against the Mets, Dave Roberts.
Yeah.
No question. He said, if it's not happening today, it's not happening today. All right, let's talk Aaron Judge for a moment. There have been players throughout the history of the sport that have struggled, great players who have struggled in the World Series. Gil Hodges famously, the great Ted Williams, the second greatest hitter in the history of the sport. Aaron Judge right now, a guy who slugged .701 in the regular season, is 1 for 12 with 7 strikeouts. Mickey Mantle even struggled, 1962. Joe Morgan, Dave Winfield famously. Like, great hitters have struggled. But Yonder, you tell me, what do you see happening right now with Aaron Judge?
I think he's expanding a little bit. It's very hard. The game is extremely hard. But then again, they're making pitches on you, and the pitches that you are getting, you're missing them. And that's just a relevancy of just trying to do too much. I like him when he's going to right center. I think his zone has expanded a ton, but at some point, too, he's trying way too hard. He's got to just kind of relax a little bit. Let the game come to him. Don't go get the game.
You can see the 1 for 5 and the 3 strikeouts, also a strikeout in Game 3. And that was with a man on base early on when the game was still happening. He hit .322 in the regular season. Chris,
right.
Also, he's hitting .140 right now. What is happening at the plate with Judge, and can this reverse itself quickly?
I think it can reverse itself, but we've seen this happen so many times to where it doesn't. And when you see your superstar player, the best player on team, going through these struggles, unfortunately, there's a lot of pressure on that guy, and I think that trickles down to the rest of the team. We saw this happen with Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman last year when they were struggling in the World Series. It's just really hard for the rest of the guys to come through when you've been leaning on this player all year long. So he deserves a lot of credit for getting them to this point, but the team lives and dies with what Aaron Judge is doing, and that's just the nature of the beast when you're the face of the team.
I know, watching each at bat, you had I think the right phrase. He's in between.
Yeah.
Right? He's chasing the off-speed stuff, and then suddenly a fastball will zip right into the zone, and he's waving at it.
Yeah, it's almost like he's predetermined what he's going to do before the ball is even thrown. Yesterday, I could have bet you I would have known 100% that he was swinging at the first pitch, no matter what.
And when he was taking, you can tell it felt like a 3-0 take.
It's almost
like he's not swinging.
In a situation, BK, when you were playing, let's say I have a game and I strike out my first 3 at-bats. You better believe that 4th at-bat, I am going out there with my only goal is to put the ball in play. Your entire approach of what you're trying to do at the plate changes when you're going through these type of struggles. And I think right now, Aaron Judge is just thinking about putting the ball in play and really getting away from what he does best, which is patient. And when somebody makes a mistake, make you pay to right field.
Well, let's see if that happens again. You can turn things around. Freddie Freeman is an example of it. Was that you in there?
That was me.
That was you in there. MLB Tonight, presented by Evan Williams Bourbon, Game 4 of the 2024 World Series. Freddie Freeman, the hitting star of this World Series so far. You have a walk-off grand slam. You will be the superhero, and he is that.
Freddie Freeman, and that is a monster match. How about that? And right on cue. She is gone! Gibby, meet Freddie, a walk-off grand Hello, short porch, and hello, Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman has homered for the 3rd straight game in this World Series, and now 5 consecutive World Series games.
Yes, coming into the World Series, it was Ohtani and Judge, oh yeah, and Betts, oh, and Soto, oh yeah, and Freddie Freeman, and he's hurt. Now, whole new ball game. Most consecutive World Series games with a home run in the history of Major League Baseball. You see Lou Gehrig playing the original, where it was just a World Series round. Then Reggie in 77 and 78, George Springer for the Houston Astros, and now Freddie Freeman, who's put it together. Brian Kenny back here with Chris Young and Yonder Alonso. Yonder, it was just last year we were thinking, wow, it's just not happening for Freddie or Mookie Betts in the playoffs, and now he's doing things that have never been done.
Yeah, and I just think even knowing him since AA, playing with him in the fall league and then playing with him in the big leagues, he's a guy that's never wavered off who he is, right? This is Freddie Freeman. This is what he knows how to do, and that's hit a baseball to all fields. But I think for me, when I look at him, it has to do with what he's handling with the injury. I think when he rolled his ankle, yes, he's always been known as hitting the ball the other way. But I think for me, he brought the pitchers into coming in on him and doing the damage. Remember, balls inner half, when you have a bad ankle, those are the easier ones to get to. Why? Because the ball is a little closer to you. It's more of a backside move, and those hands getting there before the pitch gets there. It's just catching it. For me to drive the baseball the other way, and for Freddie, it's harder when it's down in the zone and down and away. The hardest pitch to hit is the fastball down and away, and they haven't really been done that. As a matter of fact, any ball in, and especially on fastballs, he's slugging over 1,000. So he knows he's good enough to know what he wants, and that's something in the inner third. I think this is what they need to do. They need to go back down and away and try to go get him out there, especially with 2 strikes. He's been tremendous with 2 strikes, but why? On mistakes. That's why he's making a living right now. The Mets and the Padres did a much better job with 2 strikes, making sure they were going to pitch down and away on him, because it's a lot tougher with that ankle. But I'm telling you right now, if the Yankees don't make adjustments and they continue to try to sneak that cheese by the rat, he's going to eat, and he's probably going to hit another home run.
That will stay with me, that visual. Go ahead, Chris.
I mean, Freddie to me has been unbelievable, and it shows the lack of execution from the Yankees pitchers. Anytime they go out there and make a mistake, it's an ability to be out there and be ready for that mistake and take advantage of the mistake. And I really believe that that's what's the separator of the Dodgers and the Yankees. The Yankees have not been ready for the mistake. And when you was watching the game yesterday, it just stood out to me how many pitches right over the middle of the plate decided to take a pass on. But Freddie and the rest of the Dodgers have been jumping on mistakes every time. Whenever you want to make a mistake, no matter if it's an 0-0 count or a 2-0 count, whatever it is, they're ready to fire on you.
Look, and things can change from series to series. Look, right now, Ohtani is 1 for 11. Aaron Judge is 1 for 12. And yet at the bottom of the lineup, you have a guy like Tommy Edman, who is not even playing for most of this season, who's red hot. You also have Kike Hernandez, who also was a washout midseason. Now he looks like a world beater. So this Dodger lineup just looks hot right now. They're all locked in.
Top to bottom, they're grinding you out. And this, like I say, this is the separator. They're allowing the pitch count or the sequence that they're in to determine how they're going to attack the ball. If they get into a hitter set, this is almost old school baseball, Yonder. When we were playing, if you got into a 2-0 count, you got into a 1-0 count, you're saying, you know what, this is fair or foul. I'm jumping on it. And watching the Dodgers, we're going to go through every game throughout this World Series of the Dodgers understanding the situation. Kike Hernandez right here in the 0-2 count, he says, hey, this is not the time to pull the ball. I'm going to shoot the ball the other way. I'm going to shorten up. I'm going to take my triple, allow Will Smith to come behind me in a 1-1 count. Also not trying to do too much, allowing the count to dictate my approach. Mookie Betts, 1-2 count, runner on third, less than 2 outs. Let's just take it up the middle. Let's not try to do too much to lead up to the moment that Freddie freed the Dodgers right here, and Yonder just did a great job breaking that down. Let's go into game 2. 2-0 count. Pay attention to the count, everybody. 2-0 count. Tommy Edman is hitting. This is the time to pick your spot. Teoscar Hernandez, 1-0 count. This is the time to pick your spot to try to go deep. Game 3 yesterday, sometimes you have to make an adjustment. You're in a 2-2 count. Mookie did such a good job yesterday battling through an at-bat to just flare something out there. He's not trying to hit a homer. He's allowing the count to dictate what his move is going to be. And then we saw Kike do such a good job yesterday. 1-0 count. these are the moments where the Dodgers are deciding how aggressive they need to be and what their approach is in the moment. And you're not seeing the Yankees do that. You're seeing the Yankees taking fastballs right over the middle of the plate over and over again and losing their aggressiveness and almost being timid out there. The Dodgers aren't being timid at all.
That was in the making, presented by Adobe. And look at Kike Hernandez. And Kike during the regular season, as he's chatting with Clayton Kershaw. Again, look at the regular season. His on base 281. 373 slugging. I mean, that's a guy who's not going to be in the league that long now. Healthy. Look at the slash line. 302 batting average in the postseason. 362, 488. He's a very effective hitter.
Well, he said in the past couple of postseasons, he says, they don't bring me here to win 100 games. They bring me here for moments like this.
Yep.
That's what he's known for, right? He's had those big homers, 15 career postseason homers. But that was a great video on your part there. I think for me is the Yankees haven't played a team like the Dodgers all year.
Facts.
And the Dodgers have played teams like themselves all year, right? You're looking at the Padres, the Mets, even the Diamondbacks. I mean, these are teams that don't strike out. They put the ball in play. They have good pitching and they play good defense. I don't necessarily think the Yankees have played that type of teams on a consistent basis. And I think when you look at this Yankees team, they're one-dimensional. I mean, it's basically either a two-run homer or a solo homer and hopefully good pitching. The Dodgers do it in many different ways. They can bunt like you're talking about, BK. They can run the bases really well like we've seen and we've shown. And they can also take advantage in counts and hit those big home runs.
It seems like that's just the result of them being behind early. When you're behind early,
Absolutely.
they feel like they need to go out there and try to hit the 3-run homer all the time. When I feel like if the Dodgers were to get behind, they would still stick with their plan.
First
they would
third,
stick with their plan and still try to just nitpick away, nibble away until that big moment should show up.
That's a good point. They did do that against the Padres when it looked like all was lost. Meantime, that breakdown was created